everyone. Welcome to another episode of Legendary Leaders or Legend Leaders. I'm happy to have you with me as always. I get asked questions about being able to stay in the corporate world and not rock the boat. Like, people want to fit in. Again, I talked about this last week. People want to fit in. We want to find our group, our tribe. And when you're in the corporate world, you have a group of peers, right? We all have peers in the corporate world because that's the point. The corporate world is large. And there's always more than just one of you. There's several of you doing very similar jobs. And so that becomes your peer group. And so I get asked by women, hey, I love the fact that I can now admit that being too much is just right. I'm just right. But I'm not quite ready to make that shift yet. And I do want to step in and own who I am, but I don't want to upset my friends. Like, everyone that I hang out with at work, we're all just alike. It's our group. I mean, we have the same phone, we have the same iPad. We sort of dress similarly. I mean, we have to dress professionally, but it's sort of this new, hey, where'd you get that necklace? Oh, I love those earrings. Yes, I shop there too. You eat at the same places, you hang out at the same, places to drink, or you used to before the pandemic, right? Maybe you sneak in here or there depending upon the hours. You do the same workout programs. You buy things at similar places, you eat things at similar places. You're just very similar. And there's a reason for that. That's your group. That's the group that you fit into. You found your group. But at the same time, if you don't feel like you 100% fit in, it's hard to be in that group. And so you want to make some shifts, right? You want to make some shifts to say, okay, I want to fit in 100%. I want to be my authentic self. And to do that, I want to be able to bring my confidence and my directness and my strength and my supportiveness, my high expectations, my ability to influence and communicate in a way that isn't the good old boy club or the way that we used to do it, but it's the way that's going to better serve the customer. How do I do that, Katrina, without alienating my group? How do I step in and become my true and authentic self in the corporate world without alienating my peers? And I'm going to tell you, it's a simple answer, but it's not necessarily simple to execute on. So let's walk through it. The answer is bring them with you. Bring them with you. Okay? Sit down when you're having lunch together or having a Zoom lunch together or whatever it is. Call a call outside of the business stuff and just have time to connect, because that matters. We still have to connect with our peers and talk to them. And if they're your peers that you can have those conversations with, if you're that close and share all of those similarities, right, then the conversation should be able to be had something like, hey, I'm realizing that I'm being asked to adjust things in my leadership that, while may fit into the rules of the company, don't necessarily better serve the customer. I wanted to talk to you all about that because I want us to be able to put the customer first. I want us to be able to not worry about who owns what. I want to support you, John, on your path to marketing in the same way that I want to support you, Jill, on your path of, customer engagement. And all of these things, we own all of these things together. Even though my name has the title with it, doesn't matter. Together, we've got to deliver on it. And so how do we shift our mindset? How do we shift our ownership? How do we get rid of all the PC stuff and, the focus on, authority? And really, quite frankly, what it is, it's a focus of, it's not ownership, okay? Ownership is when I just grab it and own it because it's the right thing to do and you don't have to ask me, right? Versus, that you have the authority, right? Or you're told that with that position, it's your responsibility. So there's a difference between responsibility and ownership. And what you'll have to do is have a conversation to bring them along with you. That you want to shift your focus from accountability and responsibility to full ownership. And ultimately, again, that's what I teach whenever I teach executives to think and act like entrepreneurs. It's that ownership mentality. But you can walk in and have these conversations with your peers about shifting from accountability and responsibility, which is very reactionary, to shifting it over and having conversations about ownership, which is proactive change, which is an ownership that comes from the leadership and that drives change down, right? And if we're all owners, then we're all keeping an eye on the same thing, and we're steps ahead of the market. We're steps ahead of what's happening in the world so that the business will thrive, and we feel good about what we're doing because we get to give our gifts in a way that's not, just governed and regulated and held back and just controlled. That's the answer. Is when you're trying to make that shift and you want to be all in and give all of yourself in that corporate world, bring your peers with you. Because all of you together can make the shift. There's power in numbers. We always say that. But when they believe what you believe and you can start changing habits, then that's when the shift will happen. And you'll be more empowered to use your own gifts. So there's the answer. Bring them with you. Go and be legendary.